if you're an SDR in sales, a marketer, or even a startup founder or business owner, you may feel that your cold outreach efforts are literally like hitting your head against a brick wall. But in this video, I wanted to share why you're not alone, why that is, and what's changed in the market. Because cold outreach through email, through phone calls, in particular, is very, very hard right now. So you're not alone. First step. It's not just you. It's not the people who hate your offering. There could be a problem with your business. It might be that it's something that people don't want. That's always a possibility. But in terms of those channels, it's really hard. So let's go through the history of that and why. So my previous business, we used to send out hundreds of thousands of emails a week, and we'd get so much response. And it was a very compelling offer, don't get me wrong, but the deliverability, the read rate, all of it was really high because cold email wasn't as saturated as it is now. And that's the problem with cold email. It's completely saturated. And that is one of the downsides, I suppose, of AI, in that everyone can use tools like Clay or Salesforce or anything else to personalize emails at scale with really great content and get all their contact details. And every sales influencer I see advises that you do that process. And I understand why, because it means you can email a lot more people with a lot better emails at scale. The problem is people are getting so many emails because everyone is doing it. So it's kind of killing it for everyone. So, as an executive, I'll come in the morning after not checking my emails at 8, 9 at night to maybe 200 emails at least. Probably half of them are cold pitches. All of them which know who I am, they know where I work, they reference the town I live in. They're good. In the old days, they'd be really great emails, but I get so many of them that I don't believe them. So that's the problem with cold email. It just doesn't hit the mark anymore in the same way it used to. It's not scalable because it's just such an open playing field that it's kind of losing its advantage for advanced marketers. And there's always new tools coming out that give you intent data or all sorts of different things to hopefully reach the right people, but it's really, really hard. So that's one problem. Cold calls is the same. Cold calls have been hard since after COVID, I would say. We used to do a lot of cold calling. Everyone was always in the office. You could work the gatekeeper, you could get hold of them. Then everyone went and worked at home and shared their mobile numbers, and you could get them at home. Now you don't know where someone's going to be. You're in the office, and whether it's true or not, they'll tell you they're working remotely today, and you can't get hold of them. Or if you ring their mobile, which you can buy mobile numbers from Apollo or Zoom Info or wherever, and that's fine. A lot of people just don't take calls anymore. Like my phone is set that if I don't recognize the number, it doesn't even ring. So it's getting really hard to do. And obviously there's a proliferation as well of AI SDRs that will call on your behalf. I've got one, I think it's called Jordan or something, that rings me about 8 times a day and leaves the same voicemail, and it's driving me insane. And it just makes me not want to work with the company. It's not. I understand why they're doing it, but it just doesn't hit the mark for me anyway. So there's no real good solution there either. So cold calling is really hard. So what can you do to really scale or really succeed and hit your quota in this day and age using AI, bearing in mind that everyone else is going to be trying to do the same? It's almost like, we were chatting about this in the office the other day, it's almost like the old approach with music in terms of back when I was growing up, you could share a CD with your friend and experience new music together, and it was kind of it wasn't available everywhere. It was kind of like a real personal touch, and it's kind of going back to that kind of mentality, I think, in terms of we really need to make personal experiences, personal moments, and whether that's by creating content that really resonates with those people in a really bespoke way, which is something that you can do and that I absolutely recommend. That can hit the mark and that solves their query straight away without them inbound effectively, but also in a really personalized way where you're creating content for specifically not just your ICP but potentially for that target account. If I know that XYZ client is particularly interested in ABC right now, I'm going to write an article on that and I'm going to try and make sure they see it through ads or however I do it. That's one thing to think about. Another is kind of making the most of your data. So identifying who's on your website, contacting them is obviously really powerful. That's something that's worth doing because that's more than a cold outreach. You're reaching out to someone who's actually physically browsing and interested in what you're doing right now, which is 10 times better than just an intent signal or someone maybe being interested in, a certain topic. It's way beyond that. So that's really powerful as well. That's something you can do. But then it's also, I think, creating personal experiences, like I say, and that goes beyond just meeting people at conferences. That's send them direct mail, send them a handwritten letter, send them a personalized video, even though that's getting a little bit noisy these days too. But it's trying to think what you can do that makes you stand out, makes you different. And you see, if you look on LinkedIn, you'll see great examples of candidates for jobs and how they're standing out in the application process. For example, one sent a cardboard cutout of themselves to have at the company's office and say, like, hey, this is what I'm going to look like in your office, which is cool. Another is they sent a pizza box. You can send a box from Pizza Hut in the States with your resume on it, for instance. All these kind of approaches can work for sales too. If you just be creative. I know one of my friends back in the UK once sent a bunch of prospects a mobile phone number, a mobile phone, like a physical phone, when they couldn't get hold of someone. Said, I'm going to call this number at 3 p.m. on Thursday, answer it. It's a little bit Liam Neeson in Taken, but they answered that phone. He didn't get arrested, and he got some sales off it. So, it's being really creative and really out the box to try and stand out, because it's really hard right now, because even the most average SDR can send a beautiful email automatically at scale for a couple of $100 a month on a few subscriptions. So it's really rough to stand out. So that's what you need to think. Think creatively, think outside the box, use your human ability to beat the AI. It's kind of what you need to think about at this point. And that's what you need to be doing.